The most fundamental question is what atom is involved in your chemistry. Now, for organic chemists, the answer is always going to be carbon, so we don't learn a lot of information there. Next, we want to know what atom is bonded to carbon and how. What orbitals are involved? Let's start out with carbon being singly bonded to an oxygen. Now, there are a wide variety of functional groups that fall within that theme, and they can include alcohols, ethers, epoxides, systematically known as Oxirane. Now, an epoxide is a cyclic ether. Phosphate, pyran, Tetrahydro-pyran, again a cyclic ether. Furan, Tetrahydro-furan, cyclic ether, and Oxonium. Those are just a few. Now let's talk about some examples of carbon being doubly bonded to oxygen. There we can look at the functional groups that include molecules like formaldehyde, formic acid, aldehyde, ketone, carboxylic acid, ester, and where that's a cyclic ester, that's going to be called a lactone, amide, a cyclic amide is called a lactam, carboxylic acid halide, carboxylic acid anhydride, urea, carbamic acid, carbamate, and carbonic acid. Again, those aren't the only examples, but it gives you a good idea of some of the functional groups and the atoms that are involved in carbon being doubly bonded to oxygen. Let's think now about carbon bonded to nitrogen. We can do this with a single bond, a double bond, and even a triple bond. Now, these themes can be used to create a variety of functional groups that include amine, imine, oxime, nitrile, nitro, and ammonium. From carbon and nitrogen, let's think now about carbon bonded to sulfur. Now, I need to warn you here, the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry create the rules for chemistry. And I don't know how much they drunk before they decided this, but they decided that the way to spell sulfur was the American way and not the British way. I'm a little bit stubborn, so you'll have to forgive me. I've put the British spelling, which is PH, into the text. You can also see the American spelling below. Even if you're British, your professors will look at you strangely if you spell with the British spelling. So I encourage you all to use the American spelling with the F. But I'm putting PH. Okay, so after that, let's talk about carbon and sulfur with a single bond. Again, there are several functional groups that come from this theme, and they include thiol. Happily, there's no F or PH there to be controversial. And then sulphide. Yeah, you can see the problem right there. Disulphide, sulphonium, sulphoxide, and finally sulphone.